Today, what do I do when someone walks into the clinic and they're already a 10? Hi guys, my name is Dr Sarah Tonks. I'm a cosmetic doctor working here in London, and today we are talking about a very special lady who previously won Miss Universe GB. And right at the end of the video, we're going to see some of the rest of her family because they're a stunning bunch of people, and I've also treated her sister and her mother. So right at the end, I'm going to show you some of the family similarities that they all share, which is quite cute. If you've been enjoying my videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. As a cosmetic doctor, one of the most terrifying things that can happen is when somebody walks into the clinic and they already look stunning, because it's very, very easy to make them look worse from that point. You can take somebody who's maybe got some obvious tissue deflation, you know, maybe the eyebrows not quite in the right position, maybe their lips a little bit uneven, and you can make a tweak there which will improve their overall look. But when somebody's already pretty symmetrical and has won awards for being very symmetrical and attractive, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking to think, my God, if I mess this up, they're gonna look worse. So let's take a look at our patient. How would we improve upon this? It's kind of hard, right? It's not easy. So I did something which we call beautification. It basically means just emphasizing the parts of the face that we in the West would consider to be beautiful. So this isn't going to fly if you're working in China or Korea, for example, because their idea of beauty is kind of quite different to ours. So when I'm looking at a lady like this, we have a look at the point of light reflection. And you know, we all find it attractive when people have got high cheekbones. So let's start there. So when we take a look at her cheekbone, the way that I like to do it, and I'll show you this on the video when we actually come to see her having treatment done, but this is the way that I mark up. So you go from the corner of the eye here down to the outer corner of the mouth. God, it's not a very straight line, is it? And then you go from the, you see this curve of the nose here? You go from the top part of that curve of the nose to the top part of the tragus of the ear, like this, all the way across. And then you want to be dropping a line from the corner of the eye to the top part of the tragus, and then from the top part of the tragus to the corner of the mouth, like yay. So you're making this kind of triangle. Not massively accurate on this because it's 2D. It works a lot better on the person. So I like to draw it on an eyeliner before I do a treatment. And then you take a circle like this kind of thing here, and ideally that would be where the maximum point of light reflection would be for her. So you can see if we look at the opposite side of the cheek, it's kind of a bit low. Could do with being a smidgy bit higher. And where exactly should the highest point of the cheek should be? Well, we take this distance between the eyes here as 1, and then we get that phi distance between this part of the eye here, and we swing the calipers round kind of in this kind of motion, and where it intersects, that will be the highest point. I'm just guessing where it is there. In person, I actually use the calipers, but obviously I can't use them on a photo. Okay, so that would be the first thing. The second thing would be I can probably improve the light reflection here. You see it's just a little bit dull there in the central part of the forehead, so we can do something about that. The other thing that I could potentially work with is this right here. You see where the chin crease is just starting to get a little bit dark. Also, something else that we tend to find quite attractive in people is a nice strong jawline. So I can just do a little bit of tweaking there as well to further emphasize her, well, I don't know what you call it in a woman. In a man, I'd say Gillette jaw. I'm not sure. Angelina Jolie's jawline. Put some comments in the section below if you've got any ideas what I should call it for a lady. So let's take a look at where we see phi repeated on this patient. So we take the measurement from in between the eyes right here, and the width of the nose is the same, and then the fullest part of the lower lip would be the same as well. So you can draw a line straight down here. You'll see that they all intersect each other. Then if we look at the width of the mouth, we will see that this is the phi of the distance in between the eyes. And then if we just take a quick look at her eyebrows, you'll see that the whole length of the eyebrow is the phi of the distance in between the eyes. This will be the same as the distance in between the eyes also. It would be nice, in my opinion, if the corner of the brow was just very slightly raised. So we can definitely look at doing that. And you can see overall that there is a wee bit of asymmetry. So we've got a bit more fullness here than we do on the opposite side. This cheek is just very slightly lower than the other cheek is. But, you know, there's not much in it. That's why she's a pageant winner. Okay, guys, so you can imagine when a patient like this comes in, I am thinking to myself, gosh, do you really need to do anything? Can I help in any way? Is what I do going to be an improvement or not? And hopefully you'll agree with me in this case that we were able to do something which just gave her just that tiny little bit of extra edge. And this is how we did it. First of all, we're starting off using some toxin in the forehead, the crow's feet, and the frown lines. This is pretty standard stuff. Interestingly, I'm also going to do the depressor anguli oris muscle, which is this one right here, and also the mentalis, which is this one right here, because it stops the downwards pull. Now you can see that I'm doing the tip of the nose, and this is to stop the nose from drooping down on smiling. Okay, so now you can see me drawing up some volume loss here on the forehead. Can you see I'm making these circles, and this is where I'm going to inject my filler. Doing the same thing with the cheek to show the point of maximum light reflection, and also so that I can find out where the highest point of the cheek should be. So we've done all the easy stuff now. Let's go ahead and do the fillers. I'm going to use, in this case, Juvederm Vollift to the base of the nose. And this is one of my favorite injections because it's often one which is missed. Patients always come in and they ask for, I don't know, their nose to mouth lines. There's more awareness now that you can have your cheeks injected, so they ask for cheeks. Very rarely do people ask for an injection underneath the nose, but if you have a look, you will see it does make quite a big difference, and it can sometimes eliminate the need or reduce the need to inject the nose to mouth line. To be honest, I don't really inject the nose to mouth line very much anymore at all, unless it's to try and modulate muscle movement. So when someone's smiling, if they're smiling too much and you know, the smile comes up way too high, sometimes you can drop that down by injecting the nose to mouth line, but I don't really do it for volume. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but if we just take a look at her nostril itself, I've injected only the right hand side, which is the left side of the screen, by the way. And you can see that this nostril now looks like less of a slit and it's more of a slightly rounder shape. These incremental changes are really what we're trying to do when we do a full face beautification. Now we're going to go over to the cheekbone, which is everybody's favorite, and I'm going to do the right cheekbone. Pretty standard stuff here, not that exciting. But you can see that the way that I'm placing it, this is to maximize the light reflection. Let's just take a quick look at a half and half here. You can see now that the right cheekbone, which is the left on the camera, by the way, sorry for the confusion, is elevated, and it just looks that little bit more delicate. This injection is growing in popularity now. I'm talking about the angle of the jaw. A lot of people are coming in and asking for this, which is great. You can have it, no problem, but it has to match the rest of the face. So if you just inject the angle of the jaw on its own, sometimes it can lead to a more masculine look and make the face look a wee bit too wide. So it's fine, it's cool, you can do it, but you often have to balance it with injecting the cheekbones as well and the chin. Now this is one of my favorites. We of course are doing the chin crease. This is quite cool because it decreases the amount of shadow underneath the lip and also helps to bring the lower lip forward slightly. Let's just take a quick look at a half and half. So you can see that the right cheek and jawline have been done and the left haven't yet. Of course, I'm talking about her right, which is your left on the screen. So I'm just finishing up the chin using a cannula. I used a needle before, now we've swapped to a cannula. The reason for this is because I'm trying to do the whole chin zone rather than just doing an individual line here. Okay, now the lips. This is one of the hardest areas to treat in my opinion, especially if a patient has got a lovely pair of lips in the first place with good anatomy. It's very easy for an injector to just come along and completely destroy what's there already and make it into, you know, hideous sausage. But we are not going to do that today. So I'm using here a 32 gauge needle to do the Glauco Klein point, which is the top part of the Cupid's bow right here, just to kind of elevate and pull that up slightly. I'm also using this 32 gauge needle all the way along the border of the upper lip, and that's to kind of rotate the lip around a little bit. And I'm going to go and do the lower middle third of the lip, only the middle third, because remember guys, the middle third on the lower lip is supposed to be the fullest part of the lower lip. If you do the whole thing, it ends up looking like a slug. And now I'm doing the oral commissures, that's each side of the lip, right in the crease here, because that will help to turn up the lip. Makes you look a little bit happier. Not that we're not happy, you know. Now I'm gonna go and do the forehead. I'm using a very, very fine insulin needle here. It's because the bevel's slightly different. You don't have much space there, so it's good to use one with quite a flat angle on the bevel, just for safety reasons. Okay, and that's it. Very, very quick, very, very easy. Let's take a look at her results. What do you guys reckon? So we've got a nice improvement, at least I think, in the light reflection here in the central forehead. You'll see that the tail of the eyebrow is just very, very slightly higher than it was in the before picture. And just take a look at this. This is interesting. You see the glabella region? I feel like in the after, she just looks a bit more rested. And this is because we've relaxed these muscles here, the whole unit has been able to just drift up very, very slightly. Gives a sort of serenity to the face. And you can see that these very tiny changes in the cheek area have really just given her a lovely curve here and increased the amount of shadow that she's got underneath the cheekbone. Can you see that on both sides? Just looks a bit more of a V shape here, which is quite nice. And then the last thing, of course, is the chin. You can see that the lower third of the face, the height has been very, very slightly increased. Again, we're talking about tiny changes here, guys. You don't really see very much going on here at all. But the lip itself is just a little bit more rounded in the lower lip. You see that? And we've just extended the upper lip laterally a tiny little bit, so that you can see a bit more of the pink part of the upper lip. I'm pretty happy with that. People often ask, yeah, that's great. She looks great when she's not moving her face, but how does she look when she's smiling? Am I gonna look like I've got chipmunk cheeks just because I've had filler in my cheeks? The answer, as you can see on this picture, is a definite no. No evidence of chipmunk cheeks there whatsoever. What's interesting is there's a slight decrease in the amount of muscle pull here. You see that? Compare that to here. See, it's not quite as much. And right here as well, we've still got the pull going on. It's just not quite as much as it was previously. So I mentioned to you right at the start of the video that I was going to show you her sister and her mum, and you can really see the family resemblance. So I don't know if you remember, but in a previous video, we treated her older sister, who was the bride-to-be, and we did a whole bunch of injectable treatments for her, including fat-dissolving injections. And you can see a picture of her before and afters right here. And now we've got a picture of her mum coming up. Her mum's going to be in a video very, very soon, so you will see her on my channel within the next few weeks. And let's see a picture of her right now. I think you'll agree it's a pretty nice result that we've got for her mum. Let's see all three of them together. Can you see the family resemblance? See, the lips are quite similar, and also the shape of the face looks pretty similar as well. Can you guys see that? Super interesting to see, isn't it? How these traits go down through the generations. Yeah, her older sister's lip is naturally very, very full. Okay guys, so that's all we've got time for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to let me know in the comment section below if this is something that you've ever had done or you're thinking about having done. Join me again next week for more of the same. I'll see you then.